So 4 years ago, Ohio State had a true freshman running back that came in with a lot of hype. And in game one, they slow played him. They threw him out there just a little bit. In game two, they slow played him a little bit more, but he flashed a little bit. And then in game three, he went bananas. 4 years later, that guy's a national champion, and he plays for the New England Patriots as a second-round draft pick and might be one of the favorites as an NFL Rookie of the Year this year. Who knows? That man's name was Travion Henderson. And as he walked out the door, a Cleveland running back whose name is Lamar Bo Jackson, I'm not making that up, that is his name. They didn't play him in week one. He had a lot of hype. Even his coach was hyping him up a little bit in the offseason. Didn't play him in week one because they're playing the number one team in the country, so they stayed with the veterans. Played him a little bit in week two, and he flashed, and we were like, whoa, that guy's pretty good. And then, against Ohio, he was 9 of 109 for one.
Notre Dame game.
That's the one Notre Dame game? I love how... Well, the
ESPN does that too.
Yeah, ESPN, man.
It tells you what's important.
It tells you what's important is the SEC games. 9 carries for 109 yards. No touchdown, though, but 12.1 yards per average. If you take the 64-yard run that he had, that was his most explosive play. It was 5.6 yards per carry. But we have reached a point now where Ohio State has 3 options at running back between freshman Bo Jackson, second-year guy James Peoples, and then West Virginia transfer C.J. Donaldson. They've all had their good moments. They've all had their low moments. How should Ohio State handle its running back situation going forward, Stefan? Starting with who should start against Washington and how should they divvy out the reps?
Yeah, I would start Bo Jackson against Washington. I'm all in on what I've seen from him. His level of explosiveness is just something that they don't have as much of, or at least we haven't seen as much of from the other 2 guys. So I think giving the ball to Bo Jackson as much as possible and making him the starting running back, I think is where you start. That said, this team is not going to go J.K. Dobbins style with Bo Jackson, right? There's still going to be some level of a rotation, and I think C.J. Donaldson is probably your next best guy, and it's a matter of finding ways to get some momentum, get some confidence in James Peoples at this point. But right now, I would make Bo Jackson your number one guy and so rotate C.J. Donaldson a bit and then try to get James Peoples into the mix. But that's there's just that element of Bo Jackson. We talked about it after the Grambling State game of just like why it's so important to get him involved because of that level of explosiveness. And you saw it, I think it was 12 yards a carry. Obviously, a lot of that comes from one big play, but you and I were talking about it in the press box, Stephen, of, when you take away the big play, he's averaging 4 yards a carry. Not a number that flashes, right? That's very, middle of the pack. But the thing is, you can't take out that explosive play because he's shown that at least once a game he's going to give you one of those. And that, I don't want to say, like, Ohio State was never going to lose this game. Yes, it got tight. Yes, it was 13-9. But, like, his play broke the game open, right? It set up a field goal. After that, you had a big play for Jeremiah Smith. And then it was never in doubt after that. That one play, even if he's averaging 4 yards a carry for you the rest of the game, it could be it's the Travion Henderson play against Texas going into halftime. Like, one play can break everything open for you, and that's the level of play that he brings to Ohio State. So I'm making him the starting running back and then figure out your rotation from there.
I know we're cleveland.com, Andrew, but should they start the Cleveland guy?
No, not right now. C.J. Donaldson gets the first snap against Washington, and think of it like a baseball playoff game with the starting pitcher. If you get into trouble, it's a quick hook. If CJ, you have a series or two where it doesn't look great, or you put Bo in the game, Bo is my number 2. Bo is coming off the bench second. Bo is that guy who's coming in with Donaldson. I'm putting Bo in the game right after that. I'm having Bo come in as the number 2, change of pace kind of guy, the Travion Henderson type of guy. And guess what? If he does well, there it is. If Bo Jackson comes in and cooks immediately, that's your guy. That's who you're going with, especially if CJ is struggling. So I'm going CJ 1, Bo 2, James 3. And if it works for Bo, he's your new starting running back. But I think the Washington game is going to be indicative of how you figure that out.
So CJ started against Texas as the vet who's been in that situation before. James Peoples has started the last 2 games. And Ryan Day said this. The second half, James Peoples was better. Yeah. That was true last week, too. It just takes James some time to figure it out because he's got the problem Travion had in 2022 where he's just trying to run full speed. Like, there's no patience and all that. And he's young, so he'll learn and develop that over time. C.J. Donaldson has that because he's in his 4th or 5th year of college football at this point, right? But also, C.J. Donaldson is a lot more valuable in the passing game than I think we anticipated coming into the year. So there's a way for all 3 of these guys to have a role, and I think they're trying to figure that out. James needs time. He needs the ball to figure that out. I don't think you can just create a hierarchy of this is the guy, this is the guy, this is the guy. I just think you got to go with rhythm. And I think that's why we saw Bo Jackson in the second half is because he was hot. I think I think C.J. Donaldson's going to start against Washington because older guy. And do you want the true freshman's first start to be on the road in the Big Ten? I think if that game was next week here, Bo would be starting.
But I also don't know if CJ's played poorly. That's the thing.
No, but it's not about poorly. It's
Right.
about what maximizes your team, right? You can be good, but if this guy is great and can hit home runs, put him on the field and let him swing his bat. I think all three are going to play. I think all three are going to continue to play this year. It is. See, man, I love that his name is Bo Jackson.
Bo knows.
Bo knows. I think CJ starts. I think Bo is the guy who ends up getting the most carries that game, because CJ's going to be involved in the passing game. Yeah. And over time, James, it'll click. I think there is room to have a 3-back system in this team, especially if they're going to run the amount of plays they've been running lately, right? They're not slowing the game down the way they did last year. So I think there's room for all three. It's just understanding what all three bring. I think there is an element that they still have not tapped into with James Peoples. He's just got to see it better, and Bo Jackson doesn't need time to see it better. He's seeing it better from the very first snap and just going with it. So Carlos Lockland has a good problem on his hand. He has 3 quality running backs at 3 different stages of their careers. They're good in some areas while needing to improve in other areas. But the good thing is he's got 3 guys to choose from instead of just one of those guys. Get the text 614-350-3315. It's a 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. Ohio State 37, OU 9, 3-0 after the non-conference schedule for the number 1 Buckeyes. 2 weeks from now, they'll be back for Big Ten play. That's Stefan. That's Andrew. I'm Steven. See you in 2 weeks.